out reporting the news. Thank you. Oh my goodness, 2 minutes in with no sound. That's all right. I'm going to keep going. All right. I'm here. Thank you, Wellness. I'm here to report the news this time with some commentary. Those of you that follow me, you know that I generally don't report the news. I tend to make the news and talk about what I've done, what I've learned, what I think, and share it with you in hopes that you're going to own your authority and be healthy and happy and free and not be living in fear. So we've got 4 Michiganders that I'm guessing have been living in a great deal of fear since last year uh, when they were entrapped by the FBI. So a couple of important dates. I was in to see the sheriff as the prosecutor June 28th, 2021. That's because I had held court with Gretchen Whitmer early in June 2021. So as I read this article out here, I think it's important to remember those dates, and I'm going to give a little bit of commentary as we go here. So, 2 acquitted in Whitmer case, FBI misconduct central. In a huge defeat, the U.S. Department of Justice, a jury today acquitted 2 men accused of conspiring to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer in the fall of 2020. Oh, in the fall of 2020. My goodness. Well, this has been going on for quite a while then. What's the FBI doing here since 2020? Maybe waiting for guys like me. By Julie Kelly, April 8th, 2022. In a huge defeat for the U.S. Department of Justice, a jury acquitted 2 men accused of conspiring to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer in the fall of 2020. Well, how did I miss that? Well, that's good information to have. It is. In the fall of 2020, and deadlocked on a verdict for 2 other defendants. The verdicts were announced at the Gerald R. Ford Federal Building in Grand Rapids after more than 4 days of deliberations. Jurors heard 13 days of testimony in a case the government considered one of its biggest domestic terrorism investigations ever. Daniel Harris and Brandon Caserta of Michigan were found not guilty of conspiring to unlawfully seize, confine, kidnap, abduct, and carry away, and hold for ransom and reward or otherwise the governor of the state of Michigan. Jurors could not reach a unanimous decision for Adam Fox, the alleged ringleader, and Barry Croft Jr., resulting in a mistrial. Harris was also found not guilty on charges of conspiring to use a weapon of mass destruction for allegedly attempting to build an explosive device to use in the abduction scheme and other firearm charges. The scheme that wasn't of the people was a scheme of the FBI. Jurors this morning notified Chief U.S. District Court Judge Robert Jonker that they had reached a verdict on several charges but were deadlocked on others. Jonker urged the jury of 6 men and 6 women to continue deliberating under a soft Allen charge, which instructs jurors to keep pushing for a unanimous verdict, but they later notified Jonker the outcome was the same. Defense attorneys argued success would appear that their clients were entrapped by the FBI. At least a dozen FBI confidential human sources and undercover agents working out of numerous FBI field offices were deeply embedded in the plot. Numerous FBI offices deeply embedded in the plot. Wow. Jonker ruled before the trial began on March 8th, the defense counsel could not raise the entrapment issue until the government rested its case. Yeah, these judges, they like to tell you what you can and can't say in these administrative courts. They're not courts. Trying to get my right shoulder up. All right. Jonker ruled before the trial began on March 8th, the defense counsel could not raise the entrapment issue until the government rested its case. But that plan was quickly scuttled when it became obvious the 4 defense attorneys were unable effectively to represent their clients without demonstrating the FBI's extensive involvement. To prove entrapment, the defense had to convince the jury that the government induced the criminal behavior and the defendants lacked predisposition to carry out the kidnapping conspiracy on their own. Against the objections of prosecutors, Jonker notified the jury last Friday they could consider entrapment. Oh, nice, Judge. Jonker advised jurors to ask themselves whether the agent or informant persuaded the defendant who is not already willing to commit a crime to do something illegal. A roster of FBI agents and experts took the stand during the 3-week trial, which was temporarily delayed due to one participant's COVID diagnosis. Daniel Chappelle, the lead informant and government star witness known as Big Dan, explained how he brought the makeshift group of alleged militia members together after he was hired by the FBI in March 2020. Chappelle created encrypted chat groups and organized excursions for field training and the surveillance of Whitmer's cottage. He, along with other FBI informants, posed as leaders of 2 militia groups, at least one of which was created by the FBI. At least one. So they're saying maybe both. Now, what did this guy get? For his work over a 6-month period, Chappelle, a truck driver for a U.S. Postal Service subcontractor, was compensated at least $60,000 by the FBI in cash and gifts, such as a new laptop, tires, and smartwatch. Now, doesn't the FBI have better ways to spend our tax dollars than entrapping Michiganders, creating militia groups? Multiple field offices involved. This is just absolute disgrace. I don't hear anything yet about any of these FBI agents being held to account. These men's lives were destroyed. Well, they're going to talk about marijuana in here too as I read a little bit further. People just don't get it. Once your endocannabinoid system is nourished, you cannot get high on marijuana. It is the wonder drug. It's not a wonder drug. It's a wonder herb. They want to call it a drug. They even got me to slip up like that. But I don't read off a teleprompter. I'm never scripted. I just roll. I guess for reading this article, that's like reading off a teleprompter. Prosecutors mostly relied on conversations secretly recorded by FBI assets as evidence of wrongdoing. Yeah, because they're not concerned with the truth. No, they're not. 2 men charged in the same indictment had pled guilty and testified for the government in exchange of lighter prison sentences. These 2 guys were probably frightened right out of their minds. They didn't want to spend the rest of their life in prison. Felt they had no way out. That's my guess. That's how they had me feeling. That's why I took a plea. Watch the documentary of TWA 800. Right on. All right. In his closing remarks last Friday, Assistant U.S. Attorney Nels Kessler dismissed defense arguments that the evidence merely amounted to crazy talk. That's quotes. Crazy talk. By disgruntled misfits high on marijuana. Crazy talk, disgruntled misfits high on marijuana. You see, these guys, they don't care about facts at all. All they want to do is discredit and punish and suck the life out of us. They want us sick, in fear, miserable, helpless, hapless, and conforming to their authority that they do not have unless you give it to them. Misfits high on marijuana. Quote, in America, there's a lot of things you can do. You can't criticize the government publicly. Oh, you can criticize the government publicly. Absolutely. End of quote. Kessler told jurors. Quote, if you don't like elected leaders, you can vote them out at the ballot box. What you can't do is kidnap them, kill them, or blow them up. It wasn't just talk. End of quote. Hi, Kathleen. Good to see you here. We are going to get this all straightened out. We are. And environmental court, I'm going to be back to talk about that soon. That is the Achilles heel. Environmental court was established by Congress. It's a common law court. It's a court of we the people. Yet it's a district court. It's tied to the IRS and the Treasury. and it's all about money for crimes. So there's rewards for those that serve the writ, or awards, and bounties for those that actually make arrest. And there's marshals waiting, just waiting. So we're going to be making a lot of news soon, I'm sure. Reports are one sheriff resigned within days of getting his writ. It's extremely powerful, and I'm going to be back to talk about that in detail. All right. The case produced damaging headlines for Donald Trump in October 2020, just as millions of Americans were already voting for president, including in the critical swing state of Michigan. During a dramatic speech on October 8th, 2020, Whitmer blamed Trump for stoking disgust, fermenting anger, and giving comfort to those who spread fear and hatred. Oh my goodness. She's special, isn't she? That was commentary. All right. And for refusing to condemn hate groups like those two Michigan militia groups. Joe Biden accused Trump of sending dog whistles to white supremacist militias. My goodness, I'm just tripping all over this. Later telling reporters it was despicable and beneath the office of presidency that Trump allegedly encouraged the would-be kidnappers. What are they going to say about it now? Biden also thanked the FBI for a job well done. A job well done infiltrating and entrapping innocent men to destroy their lives. Richard Tass, the special agent in charge of the Detroit FBI field office, was fired last summer after he was arrested for assaulting his wife in a drunken rage following a swingers party. Reports also found anti-Trump sentiment on Task's Facebook page. Yeah, he got off with like next to nothing. I believe he's walking around free. Two other FBI agents who handled Chappelle were removed from the government's witness list amid accusations of unethical conduct. Stephen Robeson, a longtime FBI informant and convicted felon, was also fired for committing at least two other crimes while working on the Whitmer investigation, known to the defendants as Steve. Robinson coordinated numerous events, including a militia conference in Dublin, Ohio in June 2020, and training exercises in his home state of Wisconsin after the government accused him of acting as a double agent. And Robinson threatened to plead the fifth. Judge Jonker denied defense counsel's motion to compel his testimony. Harris and Castro, who have been incarcerated since their arrest in October 2020, were released from custody. Fox and Croft will remain in prison as the government decides its next move. People, we should be absolutely outraged at what goes on. And Gretchen Whitmer, she locked Michigan down. You could go in the store, but you couldn't go down the seed aisle. Easy, baby. In the springtime. Let's see what the dog's going to do here. You watch him. Teaching her to growl rather than to bark. She's doing pretty good at it. I'm dog sitting for a friend. And this dog's just a little too young to start training yet. So we're just working on conditioning. She's a smart dog and a good dog. Anyways, back to this. So, let's touch on the environmental court. It was enacted by Congress in 72 or 73. It's a district court. It is a common law court of we the people. it is outside of 3 branches of government. You can't touch it. And environmental laws and the court had been hidden from we the people. It was the court was commissioned by we the people in 2013. Everybody's basically almost everybody's municipal water supply is toxic and in violation. And every responsible corporate officer has been found guilty by the court. And these writs are being served. And there's a resolution document that they can sign. And those that serve the writ get an award. And you can do it anonymously to who you're serving. In other words, the return address on the envelope is the home address of the tyrant. The mailing address is to the tyrant's corporate office. The return address on the green card is to the court or the award center. And you do not have to put your John Henry on the paperwork you send to the tyrant, but you will want to put your John Henry and your address on the copy that you're going to send to the court. And of course, you're going to keep a copy for yourself. So you can make $2,000 just by serving the writ, and you can do it anonymously if you choose. And you can learn about all of this at the PBI, People's Bureau of Investigation, Telegram channel. And if I don't have that link posted in the description, I'll get it posted in there. Take a look at some of the comments here. My. So we know, don't we? And what are we going to do? See, we haven't been able to do anything. We got all these constitutional groups. I can't get anything done because the system's just that corrupted. We have our courts, but we don't have enforcement. And the courts are hidden. But as long as you got a piece of paper and a pen and you use the post office, you got a court. You got a high court. We just don't have law enforcement. Once we have law enforcement, we'll be able to fix everything. So the sheriffs are who we are dealing with first. They're priority. And these sheriffs are either going to come around or they're going to be looking over their shoulder until they get picked up. And once that happens, we'll replace them with a lawful sheriff. And when we have a lawful sheriff, we will have our grand juries. And you can't have a grand jury without an assembly. So once you get a lawful sheriff that makes an arrest, you will have a grand jury and assembly in your county. And then you can form grand juries in every land jurisdiction within that county because now you have a lawful county. So you see, we the people, we have all the power. And we now have a court with enforcement and with money. So all these responsible corporate officers are guilty of 6 felonies and repeat offenders. We could classify them as habitual for every time they flush their toilet. And that's the law. And the law is harsh. Yet that's the law. It translates to treason. So they're guilty of 6 felonies within their bylaw system where they don't prosecute each other, where they don't hold each other to account. They just get away with murder, rape, torture, imprisonment. And getting rich in the process. But now we can put an end to that. Now, the award for serving the writ, it is the same whether you're serving a bar member or you're serving a responsible corporate officer that is not a bar member. And it's just a little bit more than a bar member, too. There's some other words that go with it. And those details are all available through the People's Bureau of Investigation Telegram channel and in the paperwork itself. So every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, there's a voice chat on the Telegram channel. So come on over. You're encouraged to read the documents first. They're all pinned. If you're not familiar with Telegram, it might take you a minute, but it's a very easy program to operate in. So if you don't have Telegram and you want to learn more about this, I encourage you to get the Telegram app. You can also visit the People Bureau of Investigation website. And if that link is not in the description now, it will be shortly after I finish this video. So, yeah, we have a common law court of we the people that is a district court that is tied to the IRS and the Treasury for the money. And in that system, every crime has payouts. So now we have turned the tables. It's the Achilles heel. So watch the water has a whole new meaning now, because this is all about the water, all this toxic water that they're poisoning you with. According to Tom, the inventor of the reclamator, 17,000 Americans die every day from cancer because of the water that they're drinking. So I believe that's the number. I could be wrong. I think it's 17,000 people every day dying of cancer in America. Whatever the number is, it's sad. And by law, it should be 0. Water should be pure and clean and not causing any disease, including cancer. So let's see, what else do we got here? Do we have any bounty hunters in Michigan? Do we have judges on this court? Oh yeah, there's judges on this court. Come to the PBI Sunday, Kathy, and get your questions answered. In fact, come there a little sooner and read the documents. So let's see. Do we have bounty hunters in Michigan? Well, I think there's bounty hunters in every state. There are men who live for this type of thing. They train for it. They're geared for it. They're at the right age. Just serving the writ does not compel you to be making an arrest. So we've got good people that now have the power and the authority to get things straightened up. And we get this law enforcement underneath us, then we get the people's courts back. One county at a time. And as when we see this start, as the people start seeing this happening, oh my goodness, that snowball is going to turn into an avalanche all across this country. See, what else do we have? Yeah, we've got the money. That's and see, money talks and BS walks. Look into root cause protocol and the zone diet. Both are anti-inflammatory diets. Well, there's a video that was banned on YouTube called Root Cause. It was about a fellow whose life got destroyed when he got a root canal. Every root canal is a toxic tooth. Dr. Thomas Levy has the proof on that. It's the cause of 90% of heart attacks. At least he finds oral plaques in the high pressure ventricle in 90% of his patients. He claims it's the major cause of breast cancer and can be a cause of any inflammatory condition or disease. And they put 15 million root canal teeth in Americans' mouths every year. But the ADA, they don't care. Nope, they don't. And they won't look at my evidence. National Institute of Health won't look at my evidence. They invested $1.8 billion to find another way. The same month, other treasonous rats decided to put me in jail just because of my discovery. And then I got a series of connecting the dot videos explaining a lot of the oppression and suppression, attacking me just to keep you sick, keep you living in fear, keep hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Americans in prison for marijuana, and targeting the African American community. Black Lives Matter, where's your rage? So, anyways, getting over fear is a wonderful thing, and knowledge is power. And you got power with the environmental court, and that's knowledge I'm sharing with you. So, come on over to the People's Bureau of Investigation Telegram channel or visit their website and get a look at the documents and check out the videos. There's videos on YouTube and Rumble. And take action. Serve those writs. All right, everybody. We're going to get rid of these tyrants. We're going to get back to a lawful society. Something none of us have known. None of us. Peace. Much love. We'll be back soon with more.